Just realised it's nearly a year to the day when Sir Captain Tom Moore died.
I know.
And you know what is the worst thing? He died with COVID when he was after a whole year of raising £33 million for the NHS during COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
At 100 years old, well, 99, but it was for his celebration of about to turn 100. I mean, the littlest things can be some of the greatest gestures.
Yeah. And with that waffling, good evening everyone, and welcome along to PSGL PS. It is season 30, F3 round 2. I didn't want to come in there and interrupt Logan, I've got to be honest. We are here, of course, for the British Grand Prix at the Silverstone International Circuit. Of course, my name is James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as always here for F3, and joining me in the commentary box, as has already been known, I think, with the first 30 seconds of that stream, it is Mr. Otaku Logan. Logan, how you doing?
What? We're on. You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that. We were talking about how it was a bit of a sad note actually. How we were talking that it was nearly a year today that Captain Sir Tom Moore died, and sadly it was COVID. But yeah, welcome to PSGL F3 again. A bit of controversy we have to resolve from last week, don't we, James?
Yeah, definitely so. Obviously, Cameron Dowds got disqualified, if nobody is aware of what happened last week. Cameron Dowds obviously took the race win. We believed it was the race win, certainly on the stream. However, he got disqualified basically because of a desync within the game that caused him basically to be ghosted through everyone. And obviously the stewards took it as, I think, the correct decision to obviously disqualify him from the race. But all I can say to Cameron really is this: focus on your game tonight here in Britain. You might well be one of the quickest drivers that I think I've seen in F3 this season. Just focus on the race and I'm sure it will all go to plan. Rudy though did take that race win last time out in Portugal. Menno in second and Joey in third, and of course Rudy does lead the championship on 16 points. Menno in second on 12, Joey in third on 10, with Trinity in fourth on 8. He's actually not appearing tonight. I think Mathieu was replacing him if I'm not mistaken. Ron in fifth on 6 points, with Cortez in sixth on 5, Denzo in 7th on 4, Lewis in 8th on 3, Isu in 9th on 2, and Will Murdoch in 10th on 1 point. So of course, Logan, last time out, Rudy did take that win, albeit of course we've already discussed in controversial circumstances, but Rudy was pretty much a class above the field, even though he only won the race by around 0.4 per second.
Yes, indeed, Rudy showing his true pace once again last week at Portimao. I will explain the reason why he was disqualified. Of course, he ghosted through the other cars, and because of course he wouldn't have dirty air as a result, it would give a very unfair advantage to him. So it was out of his control. He couldn't do anything about it, but to protect the integrity of the league, unfortunately stewards had to take the harsh decision to exclude Cameron Dowds from the race, which means he is on 0 points as we speak. In fact, it has not classified. Disqualification means, of course, you won't be classified in the race, so he has had no classified results after one race, so he's hoping to make a name for himself here, well, I should say on home ground. It is his home island, but people will argue otherwise. He's from Scotland. This is in England. This is Silverstone, of course, the track that started it all back in May 13th, 1950. Of course, it's just a shell of itself now. It is a much more complicated track today. Back then, it was just around the perimeter of the airfield. Of course, this was an RAF airfield in the Second World War. Fun fact for you war know-it-alls. Of course, my dad is one, I have to confess. But yes, of course, this used to start at the corner after Woodcote and before Cops, but now it starts after Club and before Abbey. So yeah, it is much different track. It's changed so many times over the years. Of course, most recent changes coming in 2010 when they added the inside section, which featured the new first 4 corners of Abbey, Farm, Village and the Loop, with Aintree added on as well to lead into the old National Straight down to Brooklands, and then through Luffield and Woodcote, of course. And then, of course, we go through to Cops and Maggots and Beckett's, which was introduced in 1991, then followed by Stowe, and finally Club Corner, which is a three-part corner. So a very fast-flowing track surely is going to provide a lot of action here tonight, James.
Yeah, definitely so, of course, Logan. DRS trains, I think, are going to be absolutely key within the race, and we've already seen it, of course, so far, in every single commentary that I think I've done on this game around here in Britain. You normally have a good old DRS train to put a little bit more information onto the bones, really. Silverstone, of course, 5.9 kilometres and then 3.6 mile, 26 laps awaiting the guys out on track, with, of course, the two DRS zones. One down the start, well, one formerly down the start-finish straight, now not there, of course. One down the in towards Woodcote at turn... not Woodcote. What's turn number 6 again? Brooklands through turn number 6. Goodness me, I'm losing the will to live. Through turn 6 at Woodcote, and then down in towards Stowe, of course, at turn 15. Hopefully, though, we are going to get a fantastic racing. Some comments coming through there as well. Of course, do support your drivers here in F3 if you're a fan of F3. Of course, F2 and many other tiers are going to be running alongside us tonight. PSGL F1, of course, coming at 8 PM UK time. Luke Etheridge and Aidan Carter taking you through that one. Of course, at the home of British Motorsport, it is the only track as well that actually borders two boundaries essentially within the UK, Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire.
Yes, indeed, very interesting. And a lot of another interesting fact about the teams is a lot of the teams are based a small radius within the circuit. Of course, most notably would be Red Bull at Milton Keynes. And of course, some of the bases are also near, which are in other countries. For example, Haas and Alpine, they also have their own UK base. So this is pretty much a second home to everyone here, as we see some of the drivers getting out on track 30 seconds into this session. Always good to see. First lap, as you can see, a lot of drivers are on medium tyres, 5 of them I should say, as they make their way out of the pit exit. They make their way doing their out laps. Menno, the first driver on track. I should mention that. What is the lap record actually? It doesn't say on my notes. I forgot to write it down. I don't think it really matters because, of course, these are much slower cars than previously in 2020.
I have it. Lap record around here, 127 flat from Max Verstappen in 2020. Not sure if that got updated from 2021. I've got a very old book, if that is untrue, by the way. So, yeah, Max Verstappen, though, currently holds the lap record according to my book. I'm not sure if that is, obviously, what Google might say these days. Of course, Menno, though, the first man out on track, he is one of the drivers, of course, that finished within the top 3, finished second last time out in Portimao, and they'd be hoping, of course, for a very, very good result, I think, here tonight. At a track I think that he actually does do well at. I've seen him do well around here in EML Premier, which I, of course, cover on a Wednesday, and he, of course, were part of that last season, and Menno was one of those drivers. So Menno, I think, has already got prior experience of being a very quick driver. I always said, as well, I said on Twitter as well that I think a rocker could do quite well. A rocker was very unlucky, and you came up with, I think, a very good line just before we came live on commentary. A rocker had a shocker?
Oh, don't remind me. Araka had a shocker. Yeah, he got late in qualifying yesterday, and then he had a massive desync episode, which caused us to restart the race. He actually glitched all the drivers. I think the same thing happened with Evan Dolphin's stream. I can't remember what he's doing again. Is it F5 or something?
Yeah.
Whatever he was doing, that happened in the same track at the same point. Also, just to mention, anyone watching, no, Jarno is not racing tonight. Buzz off. Actually, no, don't buzz off. Stay here. These drivers could be Jarno one day. I mean, look, Betasai has actually spun off at Farm Corner. That's turn number 2. The fast-flowing turns at the start of the track. Menno making his way through Cops very nicely. It's easy to extend the track limits and invalidate your laps. Make through Maggots and Beckett's Chapel now. Do ignore the yellow flags, please. That's just drivers slowing down, setting up to get a nice slingshot out of Club Corner. As we said, a 3-part corner. Got to get it nicely done right if you want to get the most speed to cross the line and get a great start for your lap. Menno is just about to complete his lap, coming through to Club Corner. Well, actually, it's Vale corner, and then it's Club corner. Makes his way around nice and clean, and set a 1:26.804. Yes, I did say the lap record was 1:27, but that's in the race. Surely it will be beaten. So we see Joey coming around the final corner now, who has returned from his suspension from last season, as he sets a 1:26.5, setting the bar even higher. And his teammate, Will Murdoch, gets a 1:26.671, James.
Yeah, Rudy, by the way, is 2 tenths up coming through the final couple of corners. Cameron there goes second on a set of mediums, and that's more like it from Rudy, 26.3 in the Haas on that set of soft compound time. And actually, it looks like a majority of drivers are going for that set of soft compound time. Meteor, of course, representing Williams, of course. Trinity, obviously not making it here tonight. Meteor is in his car. And now the TTG man coming through Vale and in towards Club at turn number 18. Of course, 18 turns awaiting this this track, of course. Meteor across the line. And again, a good lap on that set of medium compound tyres, 26.9. Rudy, though, out on top. DV19 now in second. He was one of the early favourites, of course, last season, last race, I should say, within Portimao. Didn't really deliver in terms of his performance, but 26.4. Currently a Haas 1-2. One there as well in third, as Cortez actually splits both Hasses.
Yeah, I was about to say, Aroca goes fast. 1:26.2. Exactly 1/10 faster than Rudy. I was about to say a Haas 1-2 only in PSGL, but not anymore. It's a 2-4. Well,
yeah.
We're going to have to take a look at see what everyone else is up to. I think... Actually, I don't think anyone
Oh!
Isu's
gone for a spin. Kurt's coming through Cops. He got wide coming through turn number 9 at Cops. And obviously he's spun the car and has ended up in the old pit lane, pretty much. And he has actually picked up an invalidation for not going wide, but for actually going on the grass on the right-hand side, just coming out of the old pit lane. Very strange indeed. But Isu again loses, actually coming through Maggots and Beckett. Clearly he's got grass on those tyres. He just needs to run that to the racing line, I think, and get rid of the grass that is on his tyres. Should be, though, still in the session, and hopefully he was going to get a good lap in. Speaking of good laps, I was going to go on board with Denzo until I've just seen he's actually invalidated coming in towards Maggots and Beckett. And Denzo was a very quick driver, I've got to say. Last week, of course, he did deliver a very good performance, and in terms of, obviously, Denzo's performance, he actually finished 7th last week in Portimao. He has got a lot to find, I think, in terms of the likes of Rudy and Meadow early on in this championship. But Denzo is normally a driver, I think, that likes this track, and he could do quite well in this session. As I said that with a rocker, and look who's on top.
A rocker. Denzo's invalidated, as we have already mentioned. Lewis just invalidated. He's coming into the pits now. He was on mediums. Meteor's done 2 laps on the mediums, so... if this is his fastest time, then he's going to have some worn mediums to start with. Not the most ideal situation, but it could have been worse. He could have been on softs for 2 laps, which Resnick is on. I do believe Resnick is a reserve tonight for one of the other drivers who could not be here tonight. I forgot which one. Karem, thank you very much. I try to get as much notes as I can. I do miss a spot sometimes, but, you know, it's human error. It happens. Dutch missile coming around the final corner. And he has set a 3rd fastest time on 2-lap-old softs, James.
That isn't a bad lap at all, I think, from Dutch Missile. Isa, however, of course, he was very good in qualifying last week. Was towards the front end of the field. I'm just picking up on board with this lap now, coming through Aintree and on the run down the Wellington Straight, of course, where the National Circuit intertwines with basically the Grand Prix Circuit. And also, of course, this track does have 4 different layouts in terms of the Grand Prix layout, which, of course, we're on National, International, and the Stowe layout as well. Don't forget about the karting track in the middle of the circuit. Isa now coming through Woodcut and on the run down in towards Cops, and he hasn't looked too bad here, of course, the Indonesian. Very good performance from him last time out. He finished 11th in the end. I don't think 11th was really the result that he would have been hoping for, because he had such a good pace, especially on his first stint. Isa coming now through Maggots and Beckett. I've seen him, by the way, around here in Eloise last season, and he did a very, very good job. And coming through the middle sector to 102.7, and you know what? I think with that middle sector alone, he's going to be around a Rocker Rudy sort of area, so this could be pushing for pole position early on in the session, with nearly halfway through qualifying gone. A Rocker leading the way, Rudy in second, but Dutch Missile there in third. But now Isa coming through Vale and in towards Club, through 16, 17, and then through the right 118, going on to the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight. Isa to the line, goes third in the end, so around the sort of area I was expecting. He just degraded a bit of speed away, I think, coming through Vale and Club, and that is what has cost him that second position, I think, on that grid. But still, Aston Martin, the other Haas, of course, down in 6th position, looking quite strong, though, for both Aston Martins, Rocca, Rudy and Izza, coming in the top 3 as we approach halfway through qualifying.
Yes, we do. Lots of the drivers coming out for their second bite at the cherry. Looks like second out of 3, as we see Menno is the only one on a lap right now who is closest to the finish line as we make through Maggots, Beckett and Chappell. Now it will be the hangar straight as he puts the DRS on. As he... No, he's not slowed down. I thought he slowed down for a minute there, but he's absolutely fine. Going for Stowe now, down to 5th gear. Then back up to 6, make it out of the corner. Now for Vale, 16, 17 and 18 incoming. And makes his way around. Can he get up to the likes of Oroka, Rudy and Izzat? No, just 10th, 126.581. Taking another look at some other drivers. It's pretty hard when you've got a PlayStation controller. Find the driver you are looking for. Rudy has made his way past Cops. He is faster than he was last time. If he gets a little bit more faster, I think he could catch a rocker. He is 78 thousandths up right now. Izzat has went back into the pits. So Rudy, going to try and see if we can get back up into the top of the heat. Coming around Stowe, and there it will be Vale, brake hard. And Cameron Dowd takes the top time. Oh boy. Can Rudy top that? He's faster than Oroka, I can tell you that right now. No, but he is within 1.5 tenths. Oh, actually just shy of 1.5 tenths off Cameron Dowd, who's being the star of the show once again. Mr. Saturday, actually it's Mr. Monday at 7 o'clock day. But it seems like not Mr. Monday at 7:25 day, as he had struggles with desync last time. Please ignore the yellow flag. Drivers are letting others through. It's a gentlemanly affair here on PSGL as much as... Oh!
Cortez loses that, and there's actually a Ferrari off as well, coming through Cops. I think that was Dan Spreen, if I'm not mistaken. It was. Dan spun it by himself. Cortez, though, got caught on the outside curb, literally tried to rotate the car leftways. Obviously, the car went the other way, and he ended up pretty much spinning like Isu did. And Isu, by the way, came in with no front wing into the pit lane. So Cortez there down in 9th, of course, Phil McKee, man, now the Shazoo man. He is there in 9th position. DV19 is behind him, and DV19 actually is on a lap coming through Luffield, and he's on a lap now running down in towards the right-hander of Woodcote, and then towards the right-hander, of course, of Cups. More right-handers than left-handers. As I go on board with him, he's just backed off his lap. That's absolutely typical.
Yeah, commentators' bad luck. Commentator curse is one thing, but bad luck is another, as Cortez is going to start another lap now. Let's see if he can redeem himself on this lap. What's happened, James?
Metier is improving 3 tenths up in the middle sector. Of course, he's on that set of medium compounded tyres. The mediums, by the way, onto a set of softs, he can only define it by around 6 or 7 tenths. He can only find it by that much. And now Metier's coming through 18 at 16, 17, and then through, of course, Club Corner at 18. And Metier now on the run to the line, replacing Trinity, and he goes 9th. So he's in the top 10 at the minute, but he is on the bubble with Dutch Missile on behind him. He is, of course, I think Dutch Missile is actually now on a lap again. 26.364, 3,000ths of a second separating 9th and 10th, and Dutch Missile gets caught on the curb, just coming through the loop and now through Aintree. Cameron Dowd's though out on top, Rudy in second, Rocco in third. And do you know what I said earlier on in the stream by saying if Cameron Dowd shows, literally I said this before the stream happened, Cameron Dowd, if he showed the pace as he did in the second half, as Denzo now goes quickest with a 26 flat, if Cameron Dowd, what I will finish though at this point, Cameron Dowd, if he shows the exact same pace that he showed on that second set, and on that second stint last time out in Portimao, he'll be the one to beat tonight.
Yes, Araka has just crossed the line in third, so he was in fourth when Denzo crossed the line, he's now in third. He was, of course, number 1 of the first hot laps of this session, but of course now Denzo and Dowd setting the bar even higher as the track begins to improve with more rubber being thrown onto the track. What's just happened?
Cortez has gone 9th, and he's 1,000th off Will Murdoch. That is what has just happened. He's there in 9th, doing a good job. Dutch Missile is back into the pit lane, DV19. Not sure if he's on a lap. I think he might have backed off. He might be on one here, though. Coming to the right hand of Cops. And literally, as I say that, he invalidates coming through Cops and is back into the pit lane. I swear I'm cursed to DV19 tonight.
Oh dear. That will end the second run as we see Betisai, Dan Spreen and Isu, all Ferrari runners I should say in terms of engine, making their presence known in this final part of qualifying. Isu trying to improve, the only driver in this session not to set a time, and there is no rule against not setting a time, but you definitely won't get in up the grid, that's one thing for sure, as he makes his way through down to the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands. Break just past the 50-metre mark. Of course, the optimum strategy when it comes to braking. Oh, a bit of a slide around Luffield, but he's all okay. Coming out to Woodcote now. Then it'll be Cops. This is where the race used to start and finish. Remember, they used to start on Woodcote and the grid, and he's went completely wide at Cops. He hasn't been invalidated.
How's that still valid? He's miles wide coming through Cops. It does actually punish you if you back off the throttle, obviously. You can obviously still be punished as a result. To 102.8 through the middle sector. If I was Isu, I'd be immediately coming back into the pit lane here. He's got Betuxai giving them the slipstream down in towards Cops, and Isu coming through Cops, invalidated. He's into the pit lane. So I think honestly, I think he would have backed off that lap nonetheless. But still, very, very strange to go that far wide and not pick up an invalidation.
Yeah, he actually got a tow from Betisai. I'm not sure if that's legal. It is a bit of a grey area. But anyways, he was invalid, and Betisai's starting his lap now as he passes Marcados, who's just slowing down so he can let him through. Of course, if you don't do that, you might get a penalty. And in fact, Joey is out there as well with Marcados. He's just starting his lap. Dan Spreen starting his lap now, coming through Brooklands, and he's completely cut Brooklands. That will be probably his last run of the session, I'm not sure. And Betisai's also invalidated. Not good if you are using a Ferrari engine, except Haas, because, well, let's be honest, Haas is a completely different class to the other Ferrari teams right now, in PSGL anyways. Let's not talk about F1. Everyone else on their outlap or still in the pits, James. Not much going on. A bit of a lull in the action.
Yeah, Nuth, however, is coming across the line to start on a lap. He's 15th position at the minute at 26.8, but crucially, he's now on that set of soft compound tyre. He's got Cortez just coming out the pit lane, literally like a traffic jam coming out the pit lane there on the right-hand side. But Nuth now comes through turn 3 and into the loop section of turn 4. And this does not look too bad, I've got to say, through the first sector. Of course, opens up the taps now for Aintree, and then down the Wellington Straight onto the National Straight, as they basically call it now these days, as Nuth comes towards the end of the first sector. 27.2, dead on where he wants to be, I think, in the first sector, as he now comes through Brooklands and then towards the right-hander of Luffield. Of course, you can run out onto the gravel if you are not careful in terms of the rear end, but with only a minute to go in the session, Denzo out on top, Cameron Dowds in second, Arocco in third. Cameron Dowds has also just started up on a lap. I think he's just coming through the end of the first sector there, but Nuth now coming through Cops. We'll see what the German can do. He said to me he wasn't expecting much coming in terms of his performance tonight, but coming through Maggots and Beckett's, this has looked like a very assured lap from the TTG man, and the Williams flying through Chapel. This is quick from Nuth. 102.7, exactly where he wants to be in a Rocker Rudy sort of area, so could be on for third or fourth position. This is going to be a huge improvement, I think, from the TTG man. He just goes wide slightly on the entrance into Cops, runs the curb very nicely indeed. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, and that is actually Meteo, another TTG man, of course, his teammate for tonight, just luckily ahead of him, I think, as now Nuth comes around the final corner on the run to the line. He goes 7th in the end, and that is how high the quality of the grid is. He goes 7th with a lap like that. Cameron Dowds, by the way, is back into the pit lane. He invalidated in the middle sector. Denzel's not improving either through the first sector. Rudy, however, how's he getting on his lap? I think he might be up.
Yeah, he's coming through Cops right now and heading down into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. These are crucial times in the session. Everyone trying to scramble through the... Oh, he's invalidated! He's invalidated! That will will end his gambit for pole position. The last thing he wanted, Orica's just start his lap. He is within the threshold to start a lap.
I tell you what, Ron is improving here quite considerably as well. 26.2, he's improving by 1/10.5 in the middle sector. Let's see what the Estonian can do though. Coming through now turn 15, and then in towards Vale and Club of 16 and 17. There's a McLaren just off the track to the left-hand side of him. But Ron now coming through the final couple of corners through 17, and now through Club at 18. This could be quite close to pole position. He goes to the line. In the end, it's 5th. 26.2, a bare improvement from Ron. Marcados is improving by 0.2 of a second. Marcados now, he could be on for pole position, coming through in the AlphaTauri, through Vale, and now in towards Club. Can Marcados steal it off Denzo to the line? No, he goes third, and he's 0.02 of a second off Cameron Dowd. Aroka, however, is coming through Chapel, and now through the end of the middle sector, and he's up on his time as Mathieu goes quickest. Mathieu with a 25.9 for TTG goes quickest, but can now Aroka not get a shocker and absolutely nail these final couple of corners through Vale, and now in towards Club, through 16, and then to the right-hander of 17. This is looking on the limit from Aroka. He run the curb a little bit too much and degrades the speed to the line. He goes 6th, and he didn't improve in the end. Nuth, I don't think, is on a lap either. That is the end of qualifying, and it's Mathieu, the reserve, filling in for Trinity tonight, out on top. Denzo in second, Cameron Dowd in third, and one thing by the end of qualifying, Logan, many drivers didn't improve on their lap time apart from Marcados.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but Mathieu, on reserve duty, the only driver to go under 86 seconds on this circuit. What a performance from him. How is he not a full-time driver, as Denzo will have to settle for second? He thought he was at the top, but no, it's not. It's Mathieu. Cameron Dowd will be disappointed. He could not go any higher up, but he'll try and claw his way up to first place. Let's just hope he doesn't have the issues he had last time. As you see, a bit of a disappointing performance from the Dutch missile, I have to say. Isu managed to get on the board, albeit 16th, just ahead of his teammate. Whew, what a race this is going to be, James.
Really close qualifying, which I think is the order of the day, of course, here at Silverstone, but it is Mathieu out on top, the Italian, out on top in the Williams. Look at the top 5 drivers separated by 1/10.5. That is how close we are talking about qualifying around here. Mathieu, though, out on top. Denzo, of course, in second. Cameron Dowd's there in third. The Scotsman will be hoping for revenge after his disqualification last week. Marcados in fourth. DV19 in fifth. Aroka in sixth. Rudy in the end. Championship leader in seventh. Izza in eighth, with Cortez in 9th, and Ron the Estonian round off the top 10. Nuther in 11th, Joey in 12th, Will Murdoch in 13th. Of course, both Alpines picked up points last week. Dutch Missile 14th, Menno second position in the championship down in 15th. Isu, Batuksai, Lewis ran off the top 18. Rexdig also getting a lap in. Dansbreen in 20th. Apart from Dan and Rexdig, everyone covered by less than a second in the top 18.
Yeah, one moment please, something's going on in the background, 1 second.
No worries at all. As we now get to a beautiful bright blue sky and sunshine. British Grand Prix, of course. 5.9 kilometres in length, 3.6 mile awaiting these guys out on track. 18 turns awaiting the guys as well. 1 DRS zone, of course, down in towards Brooklands. 1, of course, down in towards Stowe. 2 DRS zones, and that is going to be, I think, the order of the day in terms of the DRS zones here. Let us know, of course, who you're supporting. Thank you to everyone that is tuning in, by the way, to PSGL F3 tonight. I really do appreciate every single one of you coming into the stream and showing your support for all of our drivers. Looking at some of the comment section as well. Tactics Rules there in the comment section as well, saying he recognises that commentary. Hi again, old friend. I'm not sure if he's referring to me or Logan.
It's me.
Is it you? I got
Definitely.
confused. I was thinking, who on earth have I met?
Yeah, he's watched my F7 streams. I do apologise for my brief dip. My father had the vacuum cleaner on and I couldn't hear what you were saying. No, I'm not joking, I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I don't think anybody has said that in a PSGL commentary ever. However, the formation lap has now started. Top 10, of course, on that sort of soft compound tyre. Everyone else, bar Menno, interestingly, on that set of mediums. Menno going for a little bit of a split. He's going on that set of soft compound tyre. And Logan, of course, around here, soft compound tyre is probably the tyre to be on. Anybody that dares touches the hard compound tyre is probably, well, looking to maybe cause trouble later on in the race. But Mendel down a set of soft compound tyres, down in 15th. He, in theory, is going to be the quickest man on the grid. And with championship position second, of course, coming into tonight, he's got to try and get the likes of Will Murdoch, the likes of Joey, who's ahead of him, pretty much on lap 1.
Yes, pretty much. I should mention about the tyres. The last thing you want here is a safety car, because if you are on the medium tyres, then the safety car might ruin your chances of making a charge up to the higher positions, as we saw with, funny enough, our fellow commentator, George Morgan in PCF7. He tried the medium to soft strategy, but it all went to pot, and he finished in last. He was at first at one point, and that's because he didn't pit, because the safety car came in before he pitted. So very unfortunate. The last thing people want if you're on a medium tyre is the safety car. It could be a saving grace for the big boys up top.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of rotten luck, if I've got to be honest, for George Morgan. I saw that clip and I literally thought to myself, how unlucky can you get in terms of a safety car being deployed? But that is just the nature of the game. These things do happen, of course. Hopefully, we're not going to be seeing any safety cars or VSCs here tonight, and it's going to be straight lap of 26 laps, awaiting the guys out on track. Logan, I'm going to come across to you with the final cars joining the grid. Who on earth is your top 3?
Oh gosh, don't ask. I'm going to try and roll the dice here. Cameron Dowds, DV19 and Denzo. I think Metsu might struggle.
Yeah, interesting. Metsu, of course, being the reserve for Trinity tonight, and of course, further down the field, Rexdig also in for Karem. But Metsu now leading the way as the 5 lights about to go out here in PSGL F3. It is round 2 of the championship, and it is lights out and away we go, and Denzo gets a better start than Metsu, and he pulls alongside and he actually draws past him. Denzo leads in towards Farm, and now through Abbey, and then in towards Farm. Through turns 1 and 2, everyone is through safely. Cameron Dowds has lost position to Markedos, and now he could lose another position to DV19 as he goes all the way around the outside. There's a spinner in the background, and that's enough that has been spun. I think Dan Spreen got caught up in that as well. Certainly Isu and Batuksai are losing positions as well. It's all sorts of carnage going down in towards the loop, but Denzel leads the way. Metsu in second, Markedos in third, DV19 in fourth. Cameron look to the inside line, doesn't get the move done. It's 3 wide and towards Brooklands. However, Ron trying to go now on the outside line of Cortez as we are through the first half of lap here at Silverstone. And looking at Izza as well. Izza's got a phenomenal start. He's then in 10th position. Meadows already to 12th, and there's an AlphaTauri in the wall, and that's Lewis in the wall coming out of Luffield, and that might just deploy safety car to VSC for now. Could deploy full safety car. Rudy gets ahead of a rocket just before that as well. Denzel though leads, Metsu in second, Markedos in third, and we've already got our first VSC halfway through the lap.
Yes, Lewis out of the race, unfortunately. He collided with the Dutch missile. Lewis went into the wall. That's the old national pit. Dan Spreen has also spun at Brooklyn, so he is now at the back of the pack. But it's Denzel that now leads the race ahead of Metsu and Markedos. Cameron Dowd did not have a good start. He was outside at the arena section, and he's went down to 5th, DV19 now in 4th, and Markedos in 3rd. As the virtual safety car ends, we are back underway, and my goodness me, Markedos had a bit of a slide out of Club Corner as they make their way to start the second lap of this race. Please ignore the fast lap. That surely will come tumbling down as they come across the lap next time around, as Cameron Dowd right on the rear. DV19 going to try and see if he can make a move into the 3rd corner. No, he cannot. Maybe at the loop. Goes down the outside, sees an opportunity but can't get it. Can he make a move out of entry? Let's find out as he makes his way down a Wellington Straight. Can he see an opportunity? No. Let's see. Can he? He's going to the inside. He's going to the inside. He is at Brooklands. The gutsy move from the young gun. And now on the outside at Luffield. DV19 trying to cut him off as they come around, and Cameron Dowd has been forced wide there. Not on the gravel though. They're still side by side coming to Cobb. This is a dangerous situation. Who is going to come out on top? They're bashing and bashing at Cobb, and he's pushed wide. Cameron Dowd. DV19 somehow stays ahead. Massive battle coming through Cobb, and somehow they've both stayed intact, James.
One of them had to get the elbows out quite simply there, and DV19 was that man who got the elbows out, pushed Cameron Dowds off track, but that was all legal. That was fair racing if I've ever seen it, and the Haas is soon he's into 4th, Cameron Dowds in 5th. He might be hard done by that, but he's just got to keep his head down and focus. The best thing to do, I think, at this point in the race, conserve that ERS and try and make a gamble going later on in the race than everyone else. Denzel leading the way, Matthew in second, and Matthew has actually set the fastest lap of the race, the 1:29.1. Further down the field as well, Menno, by the way, already up to 12th. Rexnick as well, up a couple of the positions. He's up 3, as well as Menno. They're the most positions gained, most positions lost, of course, enough after that spin coming through in towards the village section of turn 3. But Denzel leads the way, Matthew in second, Marcados in third. I don't think we're going to be close enough, to be honest, in terms of seeing any moves. Of course, DRS now enabled on lap 3. Rudy trying to close in on the back of Cameron Dowds. Cameron just struggling slightly for straight line speed. Rudy catching him down the straight in towards Brooklands. Doesn't get the move done though, and we sit tight once again. Nobody making moves further down the field. It's still Denzel leading the way, Matthew in second. But if you were Matthew in this position, Logan, what would you do? Would you pressurise Denzel into making a mistake, or would you just sit in that DRS train until the pit stops?
Oh, that would be a tough decision. I wish I was driving in league racing again. I haven't done it in a whole year. But yes, he's getting close to Denzel. I'd say try and see if you can make a move just before the pit stops. And maybe, but if that doesn't go right, you could try and make an undercut if you can't get past Denzel. Of course, if you are in front, you might have to go the overcut way, of course. And he's actually 3/10 behind him. It is Matthew and Denzel, but he can't get the move done. Not close enough to justify a move. So yeah, it is just down to when they come to the pit stops, you're going to have to plan yourself out. So if you are behind, you might as well go for the undercut. You could pressurise Denzel to make a mistake, obviously, but the last thing you want to do is cause a collision. That would probably get you a penalty, and I don't want to allude to anything here, but of course you want to get past as fair as possible. But you know, this is a tricky situation when you're in this situation early on in the race, because you never know what will come. A safety car could be crazy and could pretty much neutralise the race in your state and everyone else's state. It would be a all-out attacking race, as we see DV19 right on the rear of Marcados, but it doesn't seem to get anywhere near to try and make a move. James, it's coming through what you alluded to earlier, a DRS train.
It is a huge DRS train. I mean, I'm talking DRS train all the way down to 17th, by the way, at this stage. Joey might just become the cork in the bottle. He's around a second now away from his 11th. So the top 10 now beginning to get away. But what we'll see over this next part of the race is the pack begin to split up, and we'll see the real focal point drivers come towards the fore. Denzel leading the way. Matthew, however, is close enough. I think he's going to launch a move down in towards Cops. He's going to be passed, I think, on the inside line, even without using as much ERS as he would have hoped. Matthew now, the Italian, through, and he's into the race lead on Denzo. The Chilean has got no fight left for now, but I think he just sit and wait in behind. So literally what I said, a last lap around, in terms of Matthew not going for the move, look what happened the next lap around. Matthew has gone for the move, and he's down the race lead.
Yes, indeed. So he's just hoping that he comes in before Denzo does, because he could be the victim of the undercut, as we said earlier. But you never know with when you are the victim of an undercut. You do have the fresher tyres, so you could try and make a run back for your opponent. As we see Meshu now bringing a half a second gap that should be cut down with the help of Denzel's DRS as they make their way through Brooklands. The gap is about 3/10, but look at all the cars behind him. Denzel not only has to worry about getting close to Matthew, he's got to fend off Marcados, DV19 and Cameron Dowds, and possibly Rudy and a Rocker coming through too. Is getting longer and longer, all aboard the DRS hype train. As look at this, Cameron Dowds are getting very close to DV19, DV19 getting close to Marcados. If they keep going like this, there could be moves through Baggots and Beckett's. I never know.
Never know indeed. Yeah, Marcados, if he had clear air, I think he'd be quicker out of everyone. Same with Cameron Dowds. He's showing so much pace, and now he's going to put that pace to good use. He's on the back of DV19. However, Denzo is fighting back on Matthew for the race lead. Down the inside line, and Marcados will follow. Marcados now, the Alpha Tauri and the Williams, down the inside line, in towards Cops. Does he force him out wide? No, they keep within the track limits. Cameron is through, however, on DV19 and behind, and it's still side by side as we come through now. Valen Club with Marcados and Matthew. The camera angle cuts away. We don't know, as Messi now is on side by side, pretty much shoving them onto the outside line, coming out of onto the Hamilton straight, and now Messi down the outside line has to give way. Marquinhos doing his into second, and opens up a whole can of worms because Cameron Dowd dives it down the inside line. The Shazoo man on the TTG man, and he tries to go all the way around the outside. I think he's just overcooked that slightly on the brakes, and Messi was there to hold into second. The race has come alive all of a sudden. Now Cameron Dowd is going to have the run on Matthew down the straight in towards Brooklands. Is the Scotsman going to be close enough to dive his wing down the inside line? You bet he will. Down the inside line. Matthew was there, forced out wide into 3-second penalty that might get looked into and get reported into the steward's office, but it's still side by side between these two. They do not know when to give up, and now the Italian and the Scotsman still go side by side. One of them's got to give. Who is it? Cameron Dowd's around the outside on this contact. Cameron Dowd's into the side of Matthew. One of them should have backed out. They both didn't, and they both make contact through cops, and that was inevitable, I think.
Yeah, they're falling down the order. Sorry about my Mark Webber-esque reaction. I know I get excited sometimes, but yeah, that's just throwing Matthew and Dowd into the pits. As in, well, the dumps, I should say, not the pits, but you know what I mean. Yeah, one of them had to back out eventually. I think it was very similar to a certain incident that happened at this very track last year, but this time they both went out and a victim of that incident. So Denzo, Marquinhos, DV19, you're top 3 now. Hey, we could be looking at another Haas 1-2, I think. No, it wasn't a 1-2 last time, but you know, I think it was a 1-2 in qualifying. Yeah, DV19 didn't have the best of the... I might be wrong, actually. Who was the 1-2 in qualifying last?
Rudy Menel was first and second in terms of the race. I don't know in terms of first and second in qualifying. I haven't got that information in front of me.
Oh yeah, it was Cameron Dowd, wasn't it?
It was Cameron. It was Cameron. Yeah, he took pole position, I think, ahead of Rudy. But now Messi wins the pit lane. Obviously got a little bit more damage than necessary. He hasn't got a front wing change, actually, so he is into the pit lane purely to go on a set of medium compounded tyres. It's not a bad call, I don't think, from the Meteor, of course. He can last 20 laps quite easily on that set of mediums. The track is very forgiving, I've got to say, in terms of the DRS. Denzo, by the way, as a result of that contact that happened, Denzo now 7/10 clear of Marquinhos, DV19 in third, Rudy in fourth. But there comes a time and a place where you've got to try and now gap the drivers behind. I'm looking at Izza, for example. He's in that DRS train. Menno leading the DRS train behind, and of course Menno started on that fresh set of soft compound tyre. Look at how far he's behind just in the DRS train. He's nearly 3 seconds behind Izza, and we haven't even got through the first third of the race yet.
Yeah, Menno losing a lot of pace. I don't know what is... Oh, actually, no, hold on. Menzo was... Oh, there's pits coming in. They're doing a very early pit stop, I have to say. 20 laps on this. Are they going to do hards, James? It's very interesting. Mediums. Guaranteed mediums. They can make it to the end. 19 laps, roughly, for a set of mediums. 20 laps. It's around 3 or 4% in terms of the tyre wear per difference per lap. So that's what we're talking about in terms of the difference. So by 10 laps, you'll get to 40%. By 20 laps, you'll get to 80%. That's if you go really aggressive on your tyres. And I think with these guys, they're normally not aggressive on their tyres. So they've got to comfortably make it probably less than 70% right to the end of the race. Will Murdoch, however, on the back of the Joey train, as we now could call it. Menel there just in front of him as well in 5th. Joey there in 6th. Joey has got no intentions at all of making this move on Menno. He's got 99% of ERS coming through Luffield, now just up to 100. Menno in front of him has got pretty much half that, 50% ERS, and Menno was using a lot to try and catch back up. I think if I was Menno, it's pretty worthless at this stage to just try and use up that ERS. He's got to try and save it, but he's got to have one focus on the obviously the road in front and one focus on the car behind, because Joey is right on the back of him coming in towards Chapel. Yes, indeed. The gap now extending to 4 seconds. Now, remember, Menno did have fresh soft because he finished outside the top 10. I nearly forget about that. And Joey goes on the outside. What a move from Joey. Can he hold it together? Oh my goodness me, a bit of a clash there, but Joey gets ahead eventually. And oh dear, Menno is put into the back of him as the Dutch missile spun off again, as Denzel, Rudy and Ronzu making their pits that will elevate Joey and Ecos Menno to second and third respectively. A Rocker now in the lead as the Dutch missile continues to struggle. He has not had a great day. That was the exact corner. He had a collision with Lewis in lap number 1, and Isu going to make a move on Will Murdoch at the loop. Now coming through Aintree, you've got to be very careful. Wheel-to-wheel action. Bashing and bashing down the Wellington Street. You've got to be careful with that, or you might crash into what happened in 2014 in the real world as they make their way around Brooklyn and Will Murdoch's round. And he's sandwiched between both Alfa Romeos and he's ghosted because he's been colliding so much. And now it's behind Isu, and Betisai and Resnick are now side by side coming through. Woodcote and Rudy has got a penalty. 5-second penalty for corner cutting. Not sure what happened there as we watched the battle. Lots of cars going wide at Cops. Reshnik still behind Betisai. They're coming through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel now. I'm not sure what happened with Rudy on the Dutch missile. Has retired from the race. I think Rudy had he's lost his front wing. He's lost his entire front wing. So that is not what Rudy wanted. He was, of course...
Will Murdoch Will Murdoch just try to force it down the inside line there. It's getting a bit silly, if I've got to be honest, between these guys. And Isu just dives it down the inside line. Just remember, this is F3. We're not talking about lower divisions here. This is F3 racing, and you could see... Well, I'm not going to say what I'm going to see, but Isu and Will Murdoch, they just need to calm it down out on track. It's getting a little bit aggressive, and if they don't cut it out, they're probably going to go to the stewards, and I think they probably will anyways.
Yeah, a rocker has just been given a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. The last thing he wanted as they make their way. Yes, we might have missed it. I missed it for certain. Will Murdoch and Isu colliding at Stowe Corner, going off the track. I think Will Murdoch had to let Isu through. I think he might have overtaken him illegally. So he made the move at Vale. Betisai now in front of Reshnik. Joey still in the lead. These top 7 drivers are yet to pit. Everyone now on the mediums. I'm sure the top 7 drivers are going to try and go on as long as possible and then go on the softs and then try and make a gold rush to get into the points. As we see, the gap between Nerf and Reshnik is a quarter of a second. This will give him a golden opportunity, but Reshnik will also have the DRS. He's enough behind Betisai, but I think Nerf has the more superior pace as they come down into Stowe on the inside. My goodness me, I'm nearly losing my voice here, and Reshnik still holding on the outside. He'll have the inside at Vale, and then they'll come through to Club Corner and they'll do it all over again. No DRS here though. I'm sure there was DRS here at the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight a few years ago. I might be wrong, but as they make their way through Abbey and then Farm Corner, heading into the hard braking section of the village, and then they'll make their way through Loop and Aintree, and then all hell will break loose as they're right behind Betisai now, coming through Aintree. This is what it's all about. A massive battle before the pit stops. Well, that'll be a while away, but you never know. Nerf can't get any close. He's very close to Resnick looking at Brooklyn, but he cannot get anything. But maybe he can in Luffield. How much time can he gain? That's a big turning point. It can be Luffield if you're very good at it. But it doesn't look like they've changed much as they come down through Cops now. Just have to keep it steady through this Maggots, Brooklyn and Chapel. Not Brooklyn, the Beckett's I should say. I'm just getting so enthralled in this race and forgetting what to say as they come through. Now, what's going to happen here? Nerf is right on the edge. Anything happening, James, or is it this battle?
He got flung out wide of the dirty air, but that is not going to take away the speed that he has got on the back of Rexig, but he's going to wait behind because Bedoxai literally is very slow, and from Will Murdoch dives down the inside line of Isu, I think, once again, or try to dummy him. He's not through. In the end, though, Marcados, by the way, we totally forgot to come on board with this. Marcados and DV19 now ahead of Denzo in terms of the net lead of the race. Denzo looks so much quicker, though, running down the straight compared to DV19 and Marcados, and the AlphaTauri is so much under pressure, he's having to back up DB19 basically into Denzo. Arocco and Cortez have now joined the pack, and Cortez, remember, he was down I think in P8 when he came into the pit lane, and now he's in a net P5 behind Arocco with that penalty of course, and now coming through the halfway stage there are the penalties. Will Murdoch, Dan Spreen, Arocco with 5 seconds, and of course Messi there with 3 along with Will and Dan on 3 seconds. Cortez though all of the back of Arocco, but Denzo is all over the back as as well of DB19. There could be a move coming. I'm not sure who's going to get what move, or are they just going to sit on DRS turn? I think it could be the latter, but look at the speed of Denzo. If he's in clear air, he's got to get through on DB19 here. But down in towards Brooklands, he's safe. He's better safe than sorry, which I think is the right call at this stage in the race. Denzo waiting behind DB19, and we go again, possibly for more action up the field with Nothing, Rexnick and Batuksai, who are just falling over each other, I think, at this stage.
Yes, and they're coming down the DRS straight at the hangar straight. Can Reshnik make a move on Betasai? I think he can. He's side by side going into stall, and he's got it. He's got it. Not there. The third wheel. He couldn't get any move done. And in fact, he's went into the pits. He's diving into the pits. He's going to make a pit stop for softs, I think. This is a bit risky. Softs are going to grind.
Oh, he's DB19! DB19, sorry to cut in on the back of Marcados down the inside line in towards Cops, gets the job done. Fantastic stuff, and now Denzo on the back of Marcados. Is he going to try and lunge it down in towards Valen Club? No, but they go very deep in front, and now DB19 has got to try and open up the taps once again. There's a little bit of a tap there from Denzo on the back of Marcados, but DB19 crucially through on Denzo and on Marcados, I should say, and on Denzo as well. But he's now through and he's into the net lead of the race. And I think with DB19's pace, as he's been showing, the Hasses have looked quite strong. Rudy obviously is further down the field and he might not be picking up any points tonight. But DB19, the sole focus is for the Hass now to get as many points as possible, to retribute himself from last week. And then behind, Denzo all over the back of Marcados, running down in towards Brooklands. Not going to get the move done there. Joey's still leading the way, Rexnig in second, but Tuksai in third. Nuth, by the way, came out on that sort of soft compound tyres behind Cameron Dowds, and you can really say as well, Cameron Dowds has really lost out in terms of his strategy. He's now behind Menno, and as a result of that contact obviously earlier on, he's behind Menno, who started on a fresh set of soft compound tyres.
Yes, indeed. Of course, Meshu's collision with Cameron Dowds probably cost them both possibility of big scores today, as Nuff and Will Murdoch, as I said earlier until you cut in, had switched to softs. I do believe Will Murdoch had a longer stop yet to switch to a new front wing, and Isu's just got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's one of the 5 that have yet to pit. Well, make it 4 now, as Dan Spreen has DV19, who's on newer mediums, all over him, and the rest of them too. There's 5 cars behind him. He is really feeling the heat as they make their way to start lap 14. They've reached the halfway point as Isu pit. They are promoted up to 4th now, downwards. And is there going to be a move made? Any moves made at Village? The answer to that question is no, but there's always opportunities coming out of Atri, and Dan Spreen's made a mistake. DV19 is going to capitalise. They come through, and what a move that is! Taking the golden opportunity for granted, takes 4th place for now, as Marquez goes to the outside of Dan Spreen. Dan Spreen really needs to consider, should we pit now, because he's going to fall down the order if he doesn't, and Denzo's going to be side by side. He's falling down the order. This is absolutely insane. What, 3 overtakes in 3 corners or something like that? But Dan Spreen's not giving up. Dan Spreen cannot get through though, and now Denzo's going to be chasing after Marcados. Marcados going to be chasing after as Betasai makes a move on Resnick for 2nd place, but they're both coming in, and this plays to Betasai's advantage as they come into the pit. So Joey, the only driver, actually no, Dan Spreen and Joey, the only drivers yet to pit.
A rocket down the inside line of Dan Spreen as well. You would imagine Dan is probably going to come into the pit lane. If he doesn't cut across on Cortez, he's going to be forced out for at least another lap, because a rocker keeps him there from coming across. If he had intended to, it's not, and there is contact. I think Dan Spreen is either caught on the curb or he's been caught on a better contact there with Cortez, and now he is round. But hang on, Marcados is on the back of DB19, 2/10 of a second. But look at the dirty air running through Albion Farm. Marcados has flung so wide, he has to try and recover the car, and he loses a 10th of a second as a result. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1, and I'm not sure who that was for. Might have just been coming out the pit lane. Nuth, by the way, is right on the back of Cameron Dowds, and he's now involved in this battle as well, as here comes Marcados for the net race lead. The Alpha Tauri saunters down the inside line. Denzel might follow through as well if he's not careful. DV19 forced out wide, and Marcados is through. Marcados through, and he's into the net lead of the race. They're now in 2nd position out on track, but Marcados had to get that move done, and now he's in clear air, exactly what I said earlier on might happen. Denzel was not going to think about going around the outside of DV19 in towards Cops, but Markados leading the way. He's now in clear air. What can he do?
Well, he's just got to hope that Joey doesn't get lucky, and Joey is coming in for his stop. So, 20-second gap. How much is the pit stop going to cost you?
30
the drivers
seconds.
are coming 30 seconds. My God. Oh, yes, because it's a slower pit lane, because you don't want to...
Oh, DV19! Down the inside on the Markados. Denzel was boxed in there slightly as well. It's all happening now for the net race lead. DV19 leading the way, and it's back through on Markados. Denzel tries to go all the way around the outside. There's contact between Markados and DV19, and there's inevitable contact as well. Denzel was caught on the inside line. So unfortunate. Cortez now through, and he's into fourth. Aroka now, sorry, is in third. Cortez fourth, and Izza now in fifth. Izza has came out of absolutely nowhere in terms of this battle. He's just been sitting and watching everyone falling over each other in front, and he's thinking to himself, I could probably bag myself a race win here. It is getting quite aggressive, I've got to say, the racing here. One lap 16 out of 26. It's not the final lap of the race just yet. Calm it down, plenty of opportunities yet.
Yes, indeed. As Cortez is stuck in an Aston Martin sandwich, and Denzel gets another penalty for track limits warnings. It is all kicking off. It's going to cause a domino effect if they are not careful as they make their way around Woodcote now. The old start-finish straight. DV19 still clear of everyone as a moment, but that could all change if they come out of Chapel when the DRS is activated. Is there going to be any moves down here, as we saw between, I think it was Brendan Lee coming through in PCF1, and now this is the moment. Can DV19 fend off the pace of Markados, Aroka and Cortez? Furthermore, can they all keep it clean?
I think
Let's
they
see
will.
What happens.
Will Murdoch has retired coming through
session.
Cops. Yeah, he's retired coming through Cops. I think that's off track, so it might be fine in terms of a VSC or safety car. Cortez again on the inside on of a rocker in toward Vale and Club. Not going to get the move done. He waits in behind. I think it's probably right so to wait in behind and obviously wait for the moves to happen in front, because obviously in terms of how one-to-one the racing has been so far in this race, it has been quite aggressive, and hopefully drivers might just take a little bit of heed of warning. Joey, however, by the way, he came out in 8th position on that. Well, he came out in 9th. He dives it for 7th. What a lunge from Joey down the outside now, outside line now in towards Village, and then through the loop. And Joey is through. That set of soft compounded tyres is so superior. When you get on a fresh set, you are gonna be flying. And Joey is soon. He's into 7th. What I was about to say that before he lunged it is he got the move done on Denzo, and he now gets the move done on Menno. Joey is flying through the pace. What suspension, he may think, but a suspension that I think has given him the time to recuperate, and now Joey in contention possibly for the race win if he can get past Cameron Dowd and close that 3-second gap.
Yes, especially with the pace difference on these tyres. Joey really is in the running. He is 3 seconds, no, actually 4/10 behind Cameron, and then he'll be 3 seconds behind Izza as Dansman gets another penalty. What a shame. It's just not been his night. Cortez trying to make a move on Orica. Orica trying to defend, but no, he has to give seed as Cortez makes his way into third. James, what's happened?
I thought there was a spinner in the background. I think it might have been Batuksai, possibly. He's lost a bit of ground now on North. I saw something go completely off corner, or off Chapel, going out wide. I saw that in the background. I think it was Batuksai, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it was probably North just ahead of him. And currently, he's down in 11th position. He's got to find the gap. And I mean, looking at the DRS train in front of him, I think it was Batuksai who obviously went in for a little bit of a half spin. Looking to recover the car, he's still there in 11th position. DV19 though leading the way. Markados there in second, Cortez in third. It is a hard life being a commentator, I've got to be honest. This has been a phenomenal race at Silverstone. Cortez now closing in on Markados, but I think he's just going to sit and wait in behind. Joey, however, has cut 3/10 the gap off Izza, but the biggest threat to Joey possibly getting latching onto this back, the DRS train. There are more corners here than DRS trains, luckily, but can Joey now use that set of soft compounded tyres to close in? I'm not so sure, given the pace advantage in that DRS train.
Yes, indeed, the gap between Markados and Cortez now 2/10. They are near each other, very near each other, as they make their way through Maggots, Beckett and Chapel, which is now in its 32nd year of operation. And that is a fact. That was changed in 1991. And now DV19 moves to the side. Markados trying to gain something from DB19 while trying to fend off Cortez. And he does fend off Cortez very nicely still. But is Cortez going to try and surprise him with a big dive? No, he is not. Further down, Cameron Dowd trying to fend off Menno as Joey RC has already got past him, and now he's really charging. 8 laps to go. He has a 2.5 second gap to cut down from Izza, who was, of course, in F4 last season, and you might have recognised some of these names. I think he was in F4 last season. I know Nuff was. And Nuff is right on the back of Denzo, and Menno as well is in there. And Denzo does not have a clean exit out of Village. A bit of a swerve compared to Menno. And now Nuff is going to try and find a place to pass. And he's got a massive run compared to Denzo. He is on the soft tyres after all. Oh, and a bit of a clash. But James, he's got through.
Yep, Thuni's into 9th position. The German gets the move done on the Chilean. The Chilean has not had a good race, I've got to say. Denzel, of course, getting caught up in that little bit of contact. Now down in P10. Could have easily been a better result, I think, from... He's just going to focus on, obviously, recuperating what his losses might be and try and hang on within the points. DB19 leading the way, Marcos in 2nd, Cortez in 3rd. Plenty of support, by the way, for Rexnig. Of course, the reserve driver debuting here tonight in F3, in terms of this season, I should say. He's down there in 12th position, on the back of Batuksai. He's struggling to try and latch back on, but as somebody has put in the comment section, Rexnig is the new Robert Kubica, and I totally agree with that, as there's a yellow flag in Sector 1, and that is Rudy that has spun coming through Turn 4, and of course, Rudy, championship leader. I don't think is going to be championship leader for long, with still 7 laps to go. DB19 leads the way, Marcos in 2nd, Cortez in 3rd, Isu picks up a latest 3-second penalty, and there are the penalties updates for you going on to the final 7 laps of this race. Rocker with 5 seconds, Izzo on 3, Denzo on 3 along with Matthew, 11 seconds for Isu and Dan on 6 seconds. Very surprised, actually, that a majority of drivers have actually not picked up as many penalties as you would have thought. DB19 leading the way, Marcos in 2nd, Cortez in 3rd. 7 laps to go here at Silverstone. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, I'm going to have to prepare myself to lose my voice again, as Marco does 3 tenths behind DB19 coming out of Luffield, and now it'll be Woodcote and Cops, of course. How much time can he gain through these sections? Very vital to get some time gained over your opponent. And Oroka has let Isaac push. Now, they're teammates, I think. Yep. Was that a planned move? I wonder.
Completely.
Yeah, of course,
I think it is compared to Oroka, I think, has got the pace. So I think it's probably logic to obviously get Izza in front. Rocker's got more penalties, so you may as well. Izza now Thuni's into 4th, Rocker in 5th, but they've got to watch out behind, because there's another DRS train beginning to join the fray, and it's led by Joey, who's going to latch onto the back. It being behind as well. Nuth tries to go all the way around the outside of Cops. Can the German do this around the inside line? There's a little bit of contact between them both, and Nuth is forced out wide. Menno hangs on, he's into 8th. Nuth there in 9th. Denzel there in 10th. DB19 leading the way. 6 laps to go here at Silverstone. Marcos in 2nd, Cortez in 3rd. As I say, this is going to be one wild and wacky ride for the final 6 laps, and goodness knows who's actually going to win this race.
It is anyone's game, and now Joey is 1.5 seconds behind Orica. He's closing the gap, but is he closing it enough? If he is to win this race, he's going to have to pick up the pace, as Izza is right behind Cortez. We said he has the better pace of the 2 Aston Martins, but he can't get a move. Cortez is trying to get behind in front of Marcados, but no, he can't. DB19 still leading the way. How he has held on for this long shocks me, mate. Shocks me. But now, look at them. They're all within 4 tenths of each other. It's incredible. This is esports stuff. My goodness me, how have you not looked at these 10 teams of esports? How have you not looked at these drivers? Oh, wait, we're on PlayStation, aren't we? Yeah, that doesn't even change anything. This is fantastic battling as they make their way through Maggots, Beckett's and Channel for the 6th to last time here tonight. Is there going to be any change in the pecking order? Let's find out. Cortez, DB19's moved aside. DB19 might move 2 positions here. Marcados into lead. Cortez going around the outside for DB19 second place. Still side by side heading into Vale. Who's going to have the edge? I think it might be DB19 trying to cut him off. And DB19 manages to hold on a second for now. And Joey has fallen behind Cameron Dowd by the looks of it. He's now in 7th. Cameron Dowd has picked the pace up. He's now 9 tenths behind Orica. Must have been a change that I missed there, James.
Yeah, I think so. I think Cameron Dowd's obviously got the run on Joey. Throoney's into P6. Cortez dives it down the inside on the loop. It's a forceful move. Is it a move that is going to get him second? I don't think so. They've got to work together because Marcados is getting away. Marcados leads the way. 0.5 per second. DB19 has got the pace, but Marcados now is stuck once again in that DRS train. He's had so much superior pace, I think, compared to the rest of the field. But look at now. Everyone beginning to follow each other. Cameron Dowd and Joey now join on the frame. Nothing's not too far off this either. Menno and Tento are not too far off this. Top 10 are going to be separated by around 5 seconds. And we thought it was going to be like a washing line tonight. It's not. Marcados leads the way. DB19 in second. Cortez in third. Cortez is all over the back of DB19. But now Marcados has finally got away. I thought he was going to be struggling. I said the last lap around, if he is in that DRS train, he's going to struggle. But now he's in that ERS train. He begins to pull away once again. DB19 is not going to be close enough down in towards Cops, but Marcados there, not down in towards Cops, down in towards Stowe, in fact. God, I get them two mixed up. Marcados through, and he's into the lead of the race. DB19 in second, Cortez in third, 5 laps to go. Further moves happening down the field. Rexnig, the Polish Robert Kubica of PSGL F3, he is through and he's into P12. I had to get that one in, it'll please the fans.
Yeah, look at this now. Pretty much the top 7, top 8 even, within half a second of each other. It is absolutely insane. It's going to be going down to the final 4 laps here at Silverstone. The second round of the season, it feels like the finale, as there is some argy-bargy action going on. Cortez now quarter of a second behind DB19. Can he get a run? They've both got DRS, so it's playing to DB19's advantage. Doesn't look like they're going to get anything. It's like the start of the race, as you see all the cars lining up. And oh dear, what's happened to Orca? He's off the track.
And has he got damage?
What happened there?
And there must have been... I think Cameron Dowd is going to try to go around the outside. Dan Spring, by the way, is into the pit lane to retire. I don't think we're going to get a VSC or a safety car.
No,
and look to me, a rocker either got caught on the curb and went sideways and spun by himself, or there was a little bit of contact with him and Cameron Dowd. I can't say that for definitive. I didn't see that much, but I literally just saw a rocker spinning off the car. I can only think one of those two things happened. Marcados though leading the way. DB19 in second, Cortez in third, and look at the speed of Cortez now closing in on the Haas. Is he going to get close down in towards Stowe? No, waiting behind. 3 laps to go. It's going to be mayhem. Denzo is going side by side with Menno, going all the way around the outside of Cops. They lean on each other slightly. Ecos against IFR, of course, and Menno is through and he's into P8 and hangs on to that position for now. Marcados leading the way, DB19 in second, Cortez in third, 3 laps to go here in PSGL F3 as a rocker is into the pit lane to retire, and I'm not really surprised because I think he must have picked up damage, either side pod or floor damage certainly. He's into the pit lane retiring, and that is out of a point scoring position as well, which is unfortunate. And now I literally have realised by mistake, by the way, in the comment section. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Rexnig there in 11th. Of course, Robert Kubica is Polish, and Rexnig also, what I meant to say was, he's the Polish version of Robert Kubica in PSGL F3. There, clarified it.
The PSGL version of Robert Kubica.
Yeah.
Because they're both Polish, you see. But anyway, back to the action. 3 laps to go, and Joey is... The gap is 5 tenths between him and Cameron Dowd. He's starting to struggle. I don't think the plan has all... It's all went to plan. L plan, I should say, because he is in an Alpine. Hello, I'll rename it to L plan, please. And Cameron Dowd now 2 tenths behind Isaac, with his teammate falling. Cameron Dowd could get ahead of the Aston Martins here as the DRS train is set up once again, and he has the pace for Isaac. And up front, there's a lot of battling going on, and he's trying to make a move.
And I'll tell you what as well, Rudy, he spears across track on Marcados. He's into the pit lane. He's going to retire the car, I think. But what I think was trying to happen there is Izza and Cameron now go side by side. Rudy retires from the race. Cameron is side by side with Izza. Izza on the inside line, runs out wide, and now Cameron, the Scotsman, has got to get alongside the Indonesian. He goes all the way around the outside of Abbey. Now through Farm. Has he got the move done? Yes, what a move. The Scotsman is through and he's into 4th. Izza will not give up on that, but he does. And actually, Joey, I think, nearly hits the back of Izza as well. well, and DV19 is under pressure from Cortez. Final 2 laps of the race here at Silverstone. Wow, what a race it's been. Marquez leads the way. I think he might have just secured the win, as now Cortez attacks DV19 down in towards Brooklands. Can he get the job done? The Mercedes, he leans on DV19 slightly, and now coming through Brooklands in the field. He's forced out wide, and DV19 cuts back across, and he holds on to second position. Cortez has a moment, and now Cameron Dowds all of a sudden is back within contention. 1.5 laps to go. It's anybody's game.
Where did he come from? Where did he go? Cameron Dowd still in the fight of this, but don't get your chickens yet. Marquez still has to finish the race if he is to finish first. As Maury Walker once said, yes, I know, crazy, but Cortez 2/10 behind DV19, but he has the DRS as well. Oh, he's turned it off a bit, and that might give Cortez a bit of a run. DV19 has a bit of a run, and Marquez so close together. They have one last chance here tonight. If they are to make a move, DV19, looking for a pump fake there, going for the inside of Marquez, but now he has one last chance. Well, I should say two. Marquez has not had a good exit out of club. The gap is now 3/10. It ain't over till the checkered flag falls. One last lap to go. Ring ding ding goes the bell. DV19 looking for a move to get the win here. Joey making a move on Izzat. Joey makes the move. Or has he? No, Izzat coming back with another punch as they come side by side through the tree, and now the Wellington Straight. What's happening up front? Cameron Dowd looking for a move, but I don't think he can get it, can he? No, not yet. He's going to have to wait. No, he's going to try on the outside, but no, he's just not got enough slingshot out off the corner. Joey has fallen behind Izzat again. He was trying to get 5th place, but it doesn't look like it's happening. I think Marquez just has to hold off from one final attack from the DRS train. What perseverance, what patience from Marquez. He has somehow stayed in front this whole time, but can he avoid the finishing blow from DV19?
I think he will, to be honest, but look at the DRS now that DV19's got an operation. Can he get the move done? Down in towards Stowe. It's going to have to be a late lunge, but he has to wait in behind. He might lunge it down in towards Valen Club. It's the final chance now. Last chance saloon for DV19. Doesn't go for the move. It could have been forceful. Cameron Dowds, though, does for a podium. Possibly all the way around the outside of Cortez. Marquez, however, to the line, will win. And it's going to be a photo finish for third. Cortez just about hangs on. Cameron Dowds in fourth. What a finish to that race. Marquez wins. DV19 in second. Cortez in third. Who said PSGL F3 couldn't give you fantastic action as we had here at Silverstone? Yes, a bit of argy-bargy, but my god, these top guys deserve an absolute credit in terms of their race. Marquez has won. I literally called it 2 laps away. Oh, as Cameron Dowds gets a 20-second penalty, that'll get removed. That is a glitch, sadly, within the game. That will get removed inevitably, and of course I think he finished 4th in the end behind Cortez. It was very much side by side across the line. Cortez, however, it showed him 700ths of a second ahead, wasn't 700ths of a second, so it could be that Cameron Dowds is either 3rd or 4th depending on where they finish on the screen. To us, certainly though, looked to me as if Cortez was just ahead of Cameron Dowds. And driver of the day, what about the in-game fans, is Menno. Further down the field, of course, Menno starting. He gets driver of the day. What a race at Silverstone. My voice is absolutely knackered, I think, after that. Brilliant, brilliant racing into the top step of the podium. It is the German Marquez, and Marquez is back. He was unlucky last week in Portimao. Now with revenge, a German winning, of course, here in Britain. Not the first time you might see that this season, and certainly it might not be the last either. Marquez wins. Fantastic race. Full credit to the top guys, and a full credit to everyone that tuned in for that, because that was phenomenal.
Oh, man. Well, I'll not be having any chats with anyone that comes at my door tomorrow. I've lost my voice. Marquez wins an absolute madhouse of a race ahead of DV19 Cortez. It should be Cameron Dowds in 4th, but the stewards are getting it messed up again. So it says 12th, but I think he was 4th. He was definitely at least 4th. Yep. Maybe 3rd. We'll take the photo. But my goodness me, it was not a day to remember for Mechir. He doesn't even score after starting on pole. Reshnik managed to finish in 10th despite starting on the back row of the grid. Kudos for him on that performance. Ronzu's got the fastest lap, but of course he did not finish in the top 10, which means no bonus point will be awarded for that. And that means, I do believe, we have a new championship leader. And if I can do the maths to right, I think it's Menno. Is it Menno? He got 5 points. No, I think it's Joey. Yeah, it's Joey by 1 point, I do believe.
Wow.
If I'm mistaken.
Oh, actually,
has 18 points.
Does he though? Because Cameron Dowds might finish 4th in the end of the race, so he'll finish 5th, and Menno will finish 7th. So
it might be Menno.
Work that one out.
I think it might be Menno because it'll be 2 points difference. They are separated by 2 points. Or the other way round. So I actually think it is Menno. Rudy did not score, so he will fall. He will actually have the same score as Markados did, 16 points. I think Menno is the leader of this championship with 18 points.
Will of course confirm that, I think, next week when the standings are fully released and we can run it you through, of course, at the start of the stream. But Markados wins. DV19 in second, Cortez in third in the end, and to think the top 3 was separated by 8 tenths per second towards the end. Actually, I'll make that top 4 separated by 8 tenths per second. Phenomenal race, I've got to say. Shall we, for the first time this season, attempt to try and get the top 3 in?
Yes, unfortunately, I can't somehow leave the session for some reason.
I can't either. Makes both of us.
So, yeah, this is not an ideal situation. So I'm going to restart my game.
Yep, and I will attempt to get the top 3, and I've got the PS app, or hopefully I can send invites out on this. I don't think I can, but I will try. But Markados obviously out on top, DV19 in second, Cortez in third at the end of that race. Cameron Dowds again, unlucky I think. 20-second penalty, inevitably going to get removed. If it's not removed, then obviously the game deserves to be thrown out the window, if I've got to be honest. But Cameron Dowds, again, unlucky in terms of finishing in 4th. The Scotsman there obviously drove a phenomenal race, literally inches, I think, away from a podium, quite literally. Did a phenomenal job. Possibly after that recovery drive and that contact, of course, that he had, possibly going to get my driver of the day as well. But Markados wins, DV19 in second, Cortez in third. If I will stop talking for a little bit, I could try and focus on getting the top 3 in if I can. If not, Logan, it might be up to you to try and get the top 3 in.
Yeah. So how was that, guys? What a race! Come on, let me hear you in chat.
Oh, I can't, by the looks. Invite them through the PS app, which is unfortunate, so you might have to do it on PS4. The joys. I will continue talking then, and to whet your appetite a little bit further, of course, cause PSGL F1 has now started tonight. Of course, here in Britain, Luke Etheridge and Aidan Carter taking you through the action at 8 PM UK time, and I think that is underway. I'm going to try and tune in live to that now if I can see the stream. And of course, the likes of F8 is also live as well, F9, F5 also live. And looking through, somebody's already asked, by the way, where is Jarno in that? And it looks like we are waiting.
I'm sure he was here, Jarno.
Yeah, Jarno, I think was here. Was he? I don't know. It's like spot the stream. Where was Jarno tonight? But yeah, Matthew Alderweireld on top, by the way. Max in second, Isma currently in third in qualifying, and a very overcast qualifying session, I've got to say, in PSGL F1. And hopefully, you can go and tune in for that very soon indeed, and hopefully we'll be able to get the top 3 in. If not, then of course we'll try and what's the word I'm looking for?
Strike up a conversation.
Well, strike up a conversation, but also try and get the top 3 in. If not, next week will probably be the chance where we get the top 3. And Cortez has left the session. I think everyone is probably going to leave the session as well. Markados, though, out on top, as I say. DV19 second, Cortez in third. Big thank you, by the way, to everyone that tuned into that race. Phenomenal support. I think we got as many viewers as what F1's getting at the minute, which is phenomenal stuff. Really comes to show how appreciative you are of our commentary and of these drivers as well. And I cannot thank you enough for tuning in. And hopefully you will be back again next week, round 3 of the championship. And if I remind myself in terms of the calendar, we do go... That is the wrong graphic that I've got. I don't seem to have the calendar anywhere on my saved camera roll. I thought I did. I might have deleted it. Hang on. I will tell you eventually. Unless Logan knows.
Sorry, what are you asking for?
Calendar. I've got it. Oh, it's Monaco next week. Interesting.
Yay! Monaco. Brilliant. Oh, jeez. And that'll be on Wednesday for Jorn Watmere. Good luck. You'll probably need it. I think they'll all need it. I should mention, I was trying to get in the drivers and I can't add them because of their settings.
Ah, that's a shame. That is a shame. What we'll do then is obviously not delay the end of the stream any further, I think, and obviously we'll interview the top 3 as I come. I might speak to them offline in terms of getting some thoughts about the race, and I'll try and feed you that, of course, next week. As, of course, we go to Monaco, in the Monegasque region, of course, of France, and, of course, it is an independent country by itself. Monaco, though, round 3 of the championship, of course, Wednesday, as Logan has already mentioned, PC F1 going to be taking the action is Mr. Ginger Andy and Daniel Field, of course. More action as well through Thursday and Friday. I lose, honestly, count of how many tiers that PSGL does have, but... Just for reference, well, PSF 14 and 15, PCF 3 also on Thursday at 7 PM, PSF 13, PCF 5 to F7, and PCF 2 and F4 all at 8 PM UK time on Thursday. Sunday, of course, PSF 11 and F12, as well as F10, 7 PM and 8 PM UK time for that. And Monday, PSF 7, PSF 2, PS to PSF 4, of course that is including us, 7 PM UK time and 8 PM UK time, of course, PSF 1, F5, F6, F8 and F9. Oh, and breathe. We have reached the end.
See some of that.
Yeah, we've reached the end of tonight's live stream, though. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, of course, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're new. And if you're brand new, first time you've ever tuned in for PSGL stream tonight, please subscribe to the channel, Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. Of course, you can follow the league on Twitter, and the Twitter handle, of course, is at Premier Sim GL, I think. At Premier Sim GL is the Twitter handle for that. And if you've seen one of the recent tweets from PSGL, you can also give us a cheeky follow as well with our Twitter accounts on the F2, F3, and F4 tweet on there. So, yeah, might get a few extra followers by the end of the night on Twitter, but we're rambling on. Thank you so much for watching here in Britain. Of course, next week in Monaco. We will see you then, but for myself and Logan, please take care of yourselves, and until next time, goodbye.